Welcome back, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor, pretty in pink today. I always like that shirt. How we doing? You're rocking your T-Wolves hat.
Yeah, they won last night, right? Did they
I believe
beat?
so.
I'm pretty sure they beat the
Got those Pelicans
Pelicans.
by 9.
Which is funny that we're going to talk some Australian tennis because that's my favorite Nick Kyrgios. I don't know if it was a tweet reply or I'm pretty sure it was Instagram. He's big on the gram too, where he called someone an absolute pelican. Which is my favorite non-American insult, I guess. I think it's meant as an insult. You absolute pelican. Um, and not good for New Orleans if that's an insult, guys. You picked a bad name, but yeah, we are the long trudge towards probably the play-in tournament again. Jesus Christ, guys, let's get it together. Hopefully, they figure stuff out in the second half. We'll get to the NBA later on, but did want to just fire it off with golf because golf starts pretty soon, and I did pick one of my matchups that starts a little later. I think these tee times are more along the lines of 3-ish, 2-ish Eastern, somewhere in there. So you got a few hours on this. Had a nice one yesterday. My daily matchup did come through. What was it? Oh, I talked about a full tournament matchup anyway. Never mind. Me talking big stuff about a bet I didn't even give out here. But to be fair, I did get put on the spot for a first round leader, and that guy won. Some people got 80-1 on Aaron Rye. I did not.
Ooh.
I got a worser number. It chopped,
Worser.
and having it chopped sucks. But you know what sucks worse is losing. Having a chopped first round leader is always better than the
40 to
alternative.
1's
So
fine.
yeah, so it was nice making a little money. I paid attention in the morning. I paid attention in the early afternoon, and then I had to get a kid. I had to go to my house. Had to do a couple things, and then I had to come back to the office and get ready and prep for deep dive. And Dan had to tell me, "Hey, Aaron Rye is tied for the lead at the end of the day." I'll be damned. I missed the last 2 hours of golf. He must have done something great. So, congrats to him. Thanks to whoever in the chat asked me to look into that real quick and made me place a couple bets. So, but today, Mister Smotherman, one of the guys I've been betting on for a while. These are two golfers that did play the South Course yesterday, um, 1 p.m. Eastern. So what is that? Hour and a half from now, and then
Yeah.
Fratelli's about an hour and wow, geez, not as much time as I
A little less than
thought.
90 minutes.
Yeah, better than the other ones. A lot of these, basically all the other bets I made today tee off like in 30 minutes. A lot of them are right off the bat. So Smotherman, team can't putt for shit. And actually, team not so great around the green as well. But Fratelli's team can't hit the ball off the tee or hit a second shot nearly as well as most of the people in the field. So he's a better putter, but he struggles to get it there. I'm going to take worse putters today for sure. And often I will because putting is not a sticky stat. Putting is harder to predict. Putting involves more variance. I will take the guys who are much better off the tee, much better on approach, much better ball striking, fairway finding, and everything else because it is going to be Santa Anita winds all up in that ass. We're talking 20, 25-mile, 40-mile-hour gusts, maybe. It is going to get kind of squirrely down there at the golf course. I almost didn't bet this round, but then I showed a lot of value on some players. I said, you know what? If the wind F's me on like 5 different bets, I guess maybe I'll learn my lesson, but I'm not letting it deter me here. So Smotherman over Fratelli. I actually found this, and I know maybe not a lot of people have this, but it was, I think, Buckeye, one of the paper ads, and I know there are some offshores that steal their UI, UX, what have you, and use it for them too. I actually bet it on there. But this was available at like plus 105 at some places too. So this is the bet online number, minus 115, I bet last night. But I was able to get some at a better price. So shop around. I know a lot of places just copy matchups, and for some reason, they don't copy pricing over as much. So kind of a goofy deal. But that one is one I'm looking forward to this afternoon. If you want all the rest of my golf bets, I don't know. Join BetSports Golf, man. It's all there in the
It's real
Discord.
easy.
You can hang out with me in the Discord all the time. Tag me, ask me questions. Love chopping it up, talking golf with you guys. And right now, I'm in a different chat, just on Twitter, chopping it up, talking tennis. I threw a grenade in there and just left. Kind of just hey, and it's more on the men's side, but
What did you
we,
do?
we will. I just kind of asked about the Tommy Paul match. We'll get to those because we do have two pretty fun, maybe not competitive, but fun semifinals. This one should be competitive. And I was able to I bet this. I grabbed an early number because I saw the writing on the wall in this market. Basically, everybody who I talked to who's smart at tennis just kind of talked about the opener and what they were going to be betting. So I got some early Rybakina in this one, and it certainly has come down a little in some spots.
Yeah, kudos to anybody that got a piece of the opener. Rybakina opened up plus 120. I had this match basically a pick 'em. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of stay away here. If you have a plus 115 still out there, something like that, go ahead and scoop it up. I mean, it's still early and the prices are settling. Pinnacle was at like plus 122, maybe even 30 minutes ago. So we'll see if you get a chance to grab that number, scoop up a little bit of that. But this should be a fantastic match. The only kind of fly in the ointment here, Andy, is this match is going to be at night, which means the courts are a lot slower. Basically, at night, on some of those indoor courts, they don't dry out as much because they're not suspect of wind, and then the temperature drops. The ball is not, kind of expanding the same way. The court itself expands a little bit when it gets hot. So things will be a little bit tighter. I'm curious to see what impact that has. Rybakina has played one match in those conditions. Sabalenka has yet to do that, but both of them hit the ball fairly well, and I think maybe it plays a little bit more into Sabalenka's hands. She's a little more comfortable on some of the slower surfaces, but go back and look. They played 3 times. All 3 have gone 3 sets. They've been really fun matches at various levels, but this is going to be fantastic. Rybakina has a Grand Slam title already. This is Sabalenka's first Grand Slam final here, and an opportunity for her to finally kind of take that last step that we've been waiting for her to take. So should be a fantastic match. I think it's on at like 3:30 in the morning Eastern time. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. It'll probably be turn off my phone and wake up and try to watch before I see anything kind of deal.
Yeah, it said don't check your phone. Watch it. Get up at like 5 and watch it before work. And just take it in. And it's fun too because then you can fast forward through shit. You don't have to deal with set breaks and all that stuff.
Well, maybe
it's
Sunday.
Obviously you can see this is just look at this total, 22.5. I'm tempted.
Look at this over 2.5 set price.
I know it. I'm tempted to take an under. I think that's almost swung too far. I know it's a very evenly matched matchup, but one of these women winning a second set after taking a close first set, even if it's a 7-5 with a late break, it's awful. It feels, either of them getting a break in the middle of the second. It's I think that's what it's going to come down to. Is just is somebody going to consolidate a break in the middle of the second set? And this one,
if it's a Sabalenka match that goes under. So I think there's a slight correlation there. Sabalenka and the under, Rybakina and maybe the over. I mean, again, looking at the 2.5 set price, there's 22.5 games here. I had it at 22, so I guess I show a little bit of value to the under. But yeah, at this point, if you're just looking for something fun, pick who you think's going to win and bet them to win 2-1. You get a nice number on that, and this should be a battle. And we've seen a lot of these slam finals when it is 2 first-time finalists. Things get a little tight, and we end up in a third set more often than not.
Yeah, and you should get close, like maybe not 3-1, but close to it, somewhere in the 250 to 275 on the player to win in 3 sets kind of thing. I'm guessing. I mean, it's
I'm gonna pull it up real quick, but yeah, I wonder if it's like you kind of Polish middle yourself. Sabalenka 2-0, Rybakina 2-1. I know. It's always tough doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna ride a good I'm gonna say Rybakina. I don't even care.
Plus 400 Rybakina, or 4-1 Rybakina, 2-1, 3.5-1 Sabalenka 2-1. So something like that. We'll see. Again, it's going to be a fantastic match. I wish it wasn't on at the time that it's on.
Yeah.
Stupid efficient market did a good job with the price too. So we'll see. Maybe I'll find something to bet.
And then the men's semifinals will also be contested, and not a foregone conclusion, but Tsitsipas has played pretty well, and I know Khachanov has looked really good in a couple of his final, the last few wins here, but still a decent sized favorite. Tommy Paul is an 8. an 8-game underdog to Novak Djokovic, and he's been covering those numbers quite a bit. I mean, just go look back at like his last three. I know he dropped a set to, I believe it was Rublev. Was that the last one? That's yeah, no, Rublev was a trucking as well. I mean, that was he won that by 6 + 5. That's 11 games. He beat Demon Hour 2-1-2. Yeah, it's been a lot of destruction. So I know some people in the chat, our tennis chat, are making the case for the Tommy Paul price at that price, maybe getting the 8 games. But boy, that is a tough ask. And you're right, Patrick. Rublev played pretty well, and it doesn't look so much in the score. So we'll see. I probably won't take the 8 games there. Maybe an over. Maybe you can just push him to one tiebreak in the middle round if Djokovic kind of lets off the gas at all. But we haven't seen that. And then I do believe Tsitsipas gets it done as well. It might just be the good final. I'm not sure what the price would be in that one. I'm guessing probably similar to what the Tsitsipas price is over Hachinov, except with Joker as the sizable favorite in that one because the injury he had doesn't appear to be actually a real thing. Like he looks fine, he's moving fine. This should just be the destruction that some people were worried about on the men's side. I'll probably watch these when I get a chance, but more interested in seeing the final because I probably will take Tsitsipas as the dog in the games market at least. Maybe like an over. Tsitsipas or the over. We have to decide.
I'd probably look at like first set and stuff because Djokovic, he just grinds these guys down to a nub and crushes them in those third sets. So they were
Yeah.
pretty sweaty third set there. I mean, uh, who knows? I don't know what to believe with Djokovic,
It
but
and
he
that's
keeps
that's
just
been the
crushing
weirdest.
these kids.
That's been the weird part too. And I know Dimitrov was a tiebreak first set, but Demon Hour first set 6-2, Rublev first set 6-1. I don't know if I should count the French guy, although the French guy took a tiebreaker off him. But there was another 6-1 first set. He's had some spots where he's come out a lot hotter than I'm kind of used to. So scared off by that a touch, but it should be a big step up in competition for him. And also, I might not be able to watch that one either too because a few years back I had a Tsitsipas future, and I don't know if anyone remembers, he was up 2-0 on another tennis player and did not win that Grand Slam final. So a little PTSD for me there. I'll probably stay off some of that stuff. NBA. I'm wearing my NBA hat today. It's not night. What are you talking about? Yeah, hi, Andy.
It was a fun night in the association. Your Timberwolves won. My Sixers beat the Nets in just an unbelievably high scoring game. Our Orlando Magic continued to win basketball games. Went 1-1 on picks for the show. The Grizzlies covered by just 1.5. The Jazz just couldn't really get it together against the Trailblazers. And I did make a late ad of the Atlanta Hawks. Dan, we did it. We won a bet on the Atlanta Hawks. It can be tough. And I know the same game parlay I put out didn't win. Capella didn't have enough rebounds, but Hawks -1, very much in doubt until the end.
I get annoyed by the Blazers too because I did join you on the Blazers regular season wins under, and it is going to be close. It's trending towards it's. I think we're actually in a little better shape than I'm making out, but I was hoping they'd be like 10 games under 500 at this point.
Well, they started out hot. They've been pretty terrible,
Yeah.
Andy. And did they think they're just right around 500. So I think we're in okay shape right now. They're actually 2 games under 500. So we're okay there. We'll see how it
Something.
goes. Again, it would have been nice had they lost last night. That would have been better. And yes, Kevin, Embiid was fantastic last night. Just shit talking Ben Simmons pretty much the entire game, which is he actually got a little distracted. That game probably shouldn't have been as close as it was, but you got to love Joel Embiid. He is very much a son of the city of Philadelphia.
He's my guy. I'd like him to win MVP, even though he's clearly going to be the third in that voting. It would
Maybe he'll
take a
finish second
lot.
for the third year in a row.
It would take a lot for him, and you never know. A good second half of the season might get him there. So, yeah, sweating out the Blazers' regular season win. But what are we going to sweat out tonight? Awful lot of points being scored in some of these games, Noops. We're just gonna go against the grain again because the market's starting to get a little too far in one direction.
Well, it's been an interesting last couple days, Andy, because there has been a lot of points, but only in a few games.
Yeah.
If you start to look at some of the performances of totals for the last few nights, you're chugging along happily if you're just betting the under in every single one of these games. You're not making a huge profit here, but if you go back for the last 4 or 5 days, you're up almost 7 units just blind betting unders at this point. And again, like there are some games. We had a 280-point game, a 274-point game. Again, the Sixers got close to 270 last night. It's been wild, but going to continue to trust some of the numbers here. Again, 6 games tonight on a TNT Thursday. It's nice to have basketball on national TV and some really messy games here. The Charlotte Hornets hosting the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls off one of the most pitiful losses any team has ever had with that loss to the Pacers with the big lead going into the fourth quarter at home. The Hornets 6-point dogs might get LaMelo Ball back tonight. If they don't, maybe I'll look at it under there, but I'm happy to wait. Knicks Celtics. Celtics are 8.5-point favorites. Again, they continue to be priced like they're awesome, and they are, but maybe just a touch of value on the Knicks. We'll see. The Rockets on a back-to-back did the Houstonian thing, blew it in the fourth quarter last night. They host the Cavaliers tonight. Hard not to trust the Cavs. If you're up and that game is somehow close, go ahead and bet the Cavs live or Cavs in the fourth quarter because the Rockets tanking has been spectacular. The Mavericks are underdogs to the Suns for some reason, which surprised me when I first looked at it. My model agrees with that number, so happy to leave that alone. We'll see what Luka can do. The Clippers, huge favorites against the Spurs. Happy to leave that one alone. But one game I do like here, the Brooklyn Nets coming off a spectacular performance last night. Again, as good as the Sixers were, the Nets offense was great. They pushed the ball every single opportunity they had, sort of embraced the fact that defensively they were going to struggle a little bit. So, I mean, as the ball was going through the net, guys running up the floor, the ball really moving in that direction quickly. And I think we'll see definitely some tired legs tonight after kind of all that exasperation. They go back home to Brooklyn. Not the worst back-to-back travel spot, Philly to Brooklyn. We're talking about a 2-hour train ride for these guys, probably. Maybe they drive. I'm not entirely sure. But again, a little bit of a back-to-back. Expect these guys to be down. It's definitely a letdown spot against a Pistons team that, although they have pushed the pace a little bit and they do get to the free throw line, which can be dangerous for some of these unders, I've been happy to kind of control games against teams like this. I think we're going to see a much slower game here. When I look in terms of the efficiency here for the last week for both of these teams, two of the teams that are kind of peaking as the league is going a little bit the other way. So I think we're just getting some value here based on kind of the last game for Detroit being that 280-point game in Milwaukee, the last game for the Nets, being that Sixers game, and even the game before putting up some big numbers. So, going to kind of trust my model here, going to trust, kind of the read on the game that I have here. Everything tells me it's going to be a little clunky tonight in Brooklyn. So give me under 233. And I saw Savage Samurai asked about the Hachimura trade. I don't know if this was on your radar, Andy, but the
Yeah, I
Lakers
mean,
did trade.
I did pay attention a little bit to it because it's the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers traded Kendrick Nunn, a handful of 3 second-round picks. We'll see how many of those actually convey for Hachimura. It's a great buy low spot on a guy who was a lottery pick. He becomes probably the second best shooter on the Lakers almost immediately. So a nice little swing by Los Angeles. Again, I don't know if it's going to matter in a huge way, but that was kind of a clever move. I liked it.
It help any shooters would be good. I mean, for the
More
last
shooting, more better.
for literally the last 28 months, guys. Anything. It's been rough. They did win the bubble championship though, so congrats to that. And yeah, the markets, the fact that they put the markets back up for some of the award stuff is fun. We'll see how some of those move because there will be people betting into the market that have actually taken some straw polls between people that they had know or have connections to that actually placed votes on this stuff. So it'll be interesting. So, and Leg Show points out, yeah, 2 of my dogs yesterday were outright winners. I have a very, and this is common. I have a very bimodal outcome of if I when I bet on teams, they do either just they keep the game close or honestly win as an underdog, or they lose by a trillion. And Maine and NJIT were, I mean, they led the entire game. It was really something. They really put it together. Both covered nicely, and then whoever else the other one was. I always forget the name of the losers. History is written by the winners, Alex. So the losers don't matter. Whoever played VCU that I bet on, they got shit kicked out of them up and down the court for 40 full minutes. Never had a chance. Today I have more 5-pack. I guess I've placed like 11 bets already this morning between Rybakina, college basketball, between golf. I have a lot. There's some days where it's like, man, I should live bet some soccer just so I don't lose my betting streak. So I've bet for over 1,000 days straight, I think. But didn't wasn't an issue this morning. You can see I have a bunch on the card. Cal State Bakersfield out in the Big West taking on a UC Davis team, which I'm basically just again fading a decent favorite who's had a bunch of nice wins. I know that they did lose a close one at home to Riverside, but when a team wins 5 out of their last 6, and they've been playing well, but they have some glaring flaws like their 3-point percentage shooting, and they turn the ball over quite a bit. They let other teams shoot pretty effectively. I'm going to go against a favorite like that. So I do have some Bakersfield at. I mean, this number was actually surprising to me. I was able to get an 8, and then George Mason, that was the one. Could not think of my founding father that lost last night. The next one is Bellarmine, who is in a very weird spot. It is reminiscent of COVID times when we saw some very odd schedules once we got to conference play. Bellarmine's next 2 games will be taking on the Eastern Kentucky Colonels in a weird home and away. This one, this one is their home game. I'm gonna fade Eastern Kentucky here. Just not a good offense. It's a 13-8 team. They'll be above average. They're better than Bellarmine, but it's still not a very good offense in a lot of regards. Decent front court, but I don't know if they have it to beat a team like my Bellarmine Bellarmine Knights. Off to the Ace Sun, Stetson, a team I've backed a few times. What am I getting for a price there? Plus 14, huge number. The Stetson Hatters, named after the famous iconic hat. Liberty is a very good team. Liberty is, I mean, are they? Is it the best team in the Ace Sun? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're 16-5. Kennesaw State's right there. Wow, one of the best teams, the best defense. It's just too big of a number here too. Again, for a team that's won a bunch of games in a row, they didn't cover a big number versus North Florida. I don't think last time out. I think the market's a little too high on them and a little too low on my Stetson Hatters. Getting a decent price here, and then Long Island. This is a really really ugly one. This is not one I'm going to say something nice about. We'll just skip talking nice about Long Island and talk some shit about Sacred Heart. The Pioneers, also not a good team. The NAC, not a good conference. This is a team that can't shoot threes. This is a team that does not get to the line. This is a team that has a pretty cruddy offense in general. I don't like a team with a really cruddy offense to cover a big number like this. So getting 12 and a half felt pretty good in this one too. I have it under 10. I thought that was a little. I know LIU is very, very bad. In fact, I think they might be the worst. I don't think they actually will win a game this year against a Division One team. They're currently 2-18 with both wins against non-Division One competition. I believe they finished the year 2-26. Maybe a small chance against Merrimack or Stonehill. They could get one, but this is a rough team. I can't say nice things about it. It's more of a fade of Sacred Heart at a bigger number. And then finally, also in the Atlantic Sun, a little closer of a matchup, Jacksonville State. The Gamecocks. There's 2 Jacksonvilles. Yeah, it is. So this is not the team that's in Florida, like you would associate with let's say the Jaguars or Duval or all that. This is a town in Alabama called Jacksonville, which is confusing for some when they play. I made a reference to those 2 teams playing one time. I called it a crosstown rivalry. Nobody called me out on that. I thought somebody in the chat would get that and make fun of me, but this is a team in Alabama, and they are taking on the Lipscomb Bisons in a game that I have a lot closer to like a pick 'em. Getting outside of one possession here feels pretty good too. Again, this is another team it's a good team. Lipscomb's fine. They're a winning team. They will be better in the long run than Jacksonville State by quite a bit, but they're a favorite that turns the ball over quite a bit. They're a favorite that isn't playing all that well on offense. It's more of a defensively based team right now, and I don't like them to score. Honestly, I don't think they get to 70 here, and I think Jacksonville State keeps it close. So maybe an outright win for the Gamecocks. Who knows? But yeah, this is a five-pack of fun dogs on Monday. I'm not sure if any of those games
I
start
like it.
early. Do we think there's early college basketball or not? This is always the
There should
question.
be.
Not in
There
the
should be,
Atlantic
which
time.
probably means there is not.
The first game will be at 5 Eastern. Francis of Saint, the New York version, versus Wagner. So
Stupid
I do
kids at
have
their
one of the
school.
earlier games, 6:30 Eastern, Eastern Kentucky, Bellarmine Knights get going. So all right, that's it. I mean, just those 9 bets or whatever we talked to you about. And like Noops said, if you want to bet Rybakina, if you have a book that's lagging a little bit, plus 115 is for sure value at this point because sharper books are starting to knock that price a lot down. So maybe if you want to get some action on a women's final and you don't have anything yet, hunt around, try to find a bad number. I mean, there's people that base their entire betting careers around hunting around, finding a bad number in a market they might not even know anything about. You don't have to know anything to
It's
know that
called
you're
technical
getting,
trading.
yeah, it's basically just getting the best price in a market, doing it over and over, and slowly stacking those pennies. So, have fun. Good luck. See ya Friday.